Good afternoon, friends, fellows, channel members. It's been so long since we did Innsbruck, and of course it's the festive season, it's winter, so Innsbruck is a great destination that people are flying to at the moment, so I thought, well, why not? Now, I may have set myself up for a fall here. I've got the school run at just in about 2 hours 20 minutes. Flight time is about 1 hour 25 minutes, so we're probably really going to have to rattle through the briefing and that sort of stuff, but we can discuss stuff en route, I'm sure. But I am absolutely going to have to just crack on with this. We're departing Gatwick. We know Gatwick, so short brief for that. As for Innsbruck, then lots to discuss, which we can discuss en route. But there are a couple of things we will have a look at just before we get going. So a big shout out and welcome to all of you. I know I normally introduce you all individually. Thank you so much for joining us, but I do want to get cracking today. So yeah, the last thing I want is for us to be sort of at the Rattenberg NDB, starting the approach, and then boom, I gotta go. I'm on the school run, so you're not going to see see the approach and landing. So let's get started then. Here is our operational flight plan, as always, pinned into the chat if you're watching on YouTube. Welcome to our Twitch viewers as well. Now, the first thing I want to point out is that given the weather conditions, etc., today and the aircraft we're flying today, we have a regulated maximum landing weight of 63.4 tons. Landing weight shown there is about 61, so we're okay. We can get a bit extra fuel on if we need to, and still be safe to land. But we are quite heavy. Payload about 14.5 tons. We've got takeoff weight is 64.5, which is about max landing weight. Oh my word! Someone has just. Okay, there's something. You can't see this. Hang on a minute. Hang on. You see that big pile of dust there? I think that TUI pilot's getting fired. I hope that's someone messing about and not actually attempting to do something serious. Okay, well, we can ignore him if that's someone being an idiot. Right, otherwise that might just be a typical GSX pushback. I'm going to ignore that. Let's crack on. So the alternate is Munich. Yeah, Munich tonight. Tailwind of 23 knots, so that's helping us today. Costing X4, usual stuff. Shear rate, don't need to have a look at that. That is below that is below 8, so that's fine. 26 left departure, Minfo 1 Mike, usual stuff. And then we're expecting the RMP Zulu approach for runway 26. So that's the norm. The winds are slowly changing though, so we may get a change, which would be a little bit exciting. Right, so we've got 6.3 tons plug fuel. CNR is about 2.5 tons, getting into Munich, and then the usual stuff. We know that the grid more is going to increase because we've got lots of terrain around Innsbruck. So yeah, there we go. That's nothing out the ordinary or unexpected just there. Right, let's have a look then. Weather is looking fine, all of those. It's all Cat 1 stuff, so that's fine. I'm not worried about the weather. That's playing nice for us today. The forecast for Innsbruck is a bit of low cloud. I think that's probably going to be one of our biggest issues. Obviously, if there's no auto land in Innsbruck, it's going to be completely off our own back, so to speak. Manual landing, but again, there's nothing there that tells me that we're going to struggle to get in. Munich is absolutely fine, as is Zurich, Salzburg, and the one I can never pronounce, so I just call it fried chicken. So there we go. And the weather here in Gatwick is fine. The pressure over Europe is incredible. It's so high at the minute. So I'm just looking QNH 1036 here, which is yeah, very high. No times, taxiway Yankee closed due to work in progress. That's at Gatwick. Are we going to use Yankee? Is that going to be something we're using today? Kilo Papa. No, I couldn't remember. Where Yankee was, so no, that's not going to concern us. 26 left. Rapid exit taxiway is closed. Okay, that's fine. And nothing else there. That's fine. Runway 268. Oh, that's valid. Okay, runway 26. Oh, yeah, it's okay. That's not a problem for us. And then Innsbruck is. I don't think there's anything there. No, Innsbruck's fine. Innsbruck's fine as well. So yeah, that's all normal stuff. The only other thing to look at then, weather en route, that's our flight route, that's fine. That's fine as well. Yeah, so actually it should be nice weather today, and we're flying in the daylight, which is always a bonus. So, stand 104 is where the jet is. So, we'll plan for a departure via Bravo 26 left as normal, and then the departure is pretty straightforward. We've got speed restriction 220 knots, and initial climb is 4,000 feet. Alright, let's get into the jet. Let's start letting people on. With regards to the weather and what fuel we're going to take, we said plug fuel was, what, 6.3? Given the kind of place that if you have to do a go-around, you're going to burn a lot of fuel, because the go-around altitude there is 11,000 feet. So yeah, we're going to we can throw an extra ton on there and still be below the dispatch landing weight. So let's go with, say, let's go with 7.5 tons. Yeah, 7.5 tons, and that will work for us. Right, you said you got no sound. There was a reason for that. It was turned down. Okay. Are we back now? Hopefully. Oh god, we really need to crack on. Fingers crossed, everything is now working. This was a bad idea doing this flight today. So, we're going to be very, very swift in how we do this. Yeah, the sound, that was no one's fault except mine. I turned it down by mistake. So, yeah, that was completely my fault. Sorry about that. Okay, right, let's get back to what we were doing. So let's just clear that. Aircraft's in its turnaround state, so that's fine. Already checked it. Previous flight crew hadn't broken anything, so just updating the tropo. Wind, make sure that's downloaded. And Iris is fine. Cruise altitude is 37,000 feet and 64. So what I'm not going to do is basically just talk through everything I'm doing right now, just because most of you know it anyway. You can just basically PM it. So info Mike departure, arrival is going to be Tulsi 3 Alpha for the Zulu approach. Arnav Zulu 26, that's the one. Tulsa 3 Alpha approach, which, as we know, comes in via Rottenburg. That's fine. Insert. Hey Dennis, happy Friday from Nova Scotia. 595 miles, I got 592 in the box, that's fine. Radnav page. Let's just get big in and Detling in there. So we'll still set everything up correctly. I'm just not going to talk through it perhaps quite as much as we usually would. I really need to be on the move. So low cheat is 58 point, let's call it 58.6.
Thank you.
And that zero fuel weight is 33. Alternate fuel to get to Munich, let's call that 1.5 because we would burn more given the go around. And fuel planning then, see what the aircraft wants. And we're going to take 7.5 tons, at least I hope that's what the refuelers are popping in, that's what I wanted. Yes, there we go, takeoff weight of 65.9. 60 minutes extra time endurance, and takeoff CFG is 28.7. Alright, on to our performance for departure calculations then. So it is dry here, 26 left, flaps 1, no need to force target, anti-ice. Will be off, packs off, takeoff weight is 659, CFG is 287, grab live weather, intersection Bravo, and that gives us a performance of 145, 145, 147. Transition altitude at Gatwick 6,000 feet, flaps 1 for departure, flex 66. And just check thrust reduction acceleration, yeah, 1196, that's fine. And engine out procedure, copy the active, so we'll just go EGKK. Departing track is 257. It says standard engine out procedure, so create that waypoint 15 miles out from the runway and then head to Willow. Where we will take up the hold. 284 left turns. And I'm going to leave the engine out procedure there. Normally we would add Gatwick back in as the return airport, but if we end up losing an engine and having to return here, we'll have all the time in the world to sort that out, and I won't be worrying about the school run. Right, so there we are. That's done. So box is now all set up. Final check, have we got any air traffic control knocking about today? I got the grounds on 121805, so let's give them a shout.
Juliet with you, just vacated runway 26 left on Juliet.
So I'm just copying the
GN 59 Tango Juliet, welcome to London Gatwick, taxi to stand 27 today via Juliet.
Pakistan 27 via Juliet, Europa 59 Tango Juliet.
Gatwick ground, good afternoon, Easy 34 Juliet Tango, Type A320, stand 104, requesting Alpha clearance to Innsbruck, and we have information Alpha.
Last call us again, call sign.
Easy 34 Juliet Tango.
I've got you coming up as Alpine 34 Juliet Tango, sir, and haven't got a flight plan, I'm afraid.
Ah, apologies, let me just reconnect with the correct call sign. That's what happens when you rush.
Easy 34 Juliet Tango, have your clearance when you're ready.
Ready to copy.
Just confirm your stand number for me.
Stand 104 for Easy 34 Juliet Tango.
Easy 34 Juliet Tango, thank you. You're cleared to Innsbruck. It's the Minfo 1 Mike departure, squawk 7741.
Cleared by Minfo 1 Mike, squawk 7741, Easy 34 Juliet Tango.
Correct.
Good. Squawk in 7741. Initial climbs 4,000 feet, and we've got that set. Lovely. All right. So with all of that, let's crack on and brief. So weather here at Gatwick's. Oh, why have I just lost connection to the simulator? Ah. What's going on here? Oh no, connection's been restored. That's my tablet disappeared then. This is just going to be one of those streams, isn't it, where everything goes wrong. Yes, so Gatwick weather, winds 240 at 5, so light winds from the left as we depart, broken clouds 3,900 feet, so we're not going to worry about anti-ice for departure. 9 degrees, QNH is 1037, set. And let's chat about the taxi out. So taxi out straightforward, standard Gatwick stuff. Kilo Papa, we can take Bravo, standard Minfo 1 Mike departure, straight out. And we'll leave everything in managed mode then. Max speed is 220, clean speed is 217, so we'll clean up and leave it in managed mode. Auto thrust will sort that out for us. 4,000 feet initial climb, MSA 212223. And we'll not bother with the single engine taxi. Noise abatement 1 stuff, correction, noise abatement 2 stuff first.
Easyjet 5 Echo Hotel, good morning Gatwick ground. Say again, aircraft type.
A320.
Engine out procedure is standard, straight out, once above, 1,700 feet, level off, left turn
departure, squawk 7764.
Clear to Umbri, Bognor 1 X-ray 7764, Easyjet 5 Echo Hotel.
Easyjet 5 Echo Hotel, correct.
So I think we've quickly covered everything. As I say, it's pretty much a standard Gatwick brief. We do Gatwick a heck of a lot. That final load sheet, I think, has also just come through as well. Oh no, it hasn't. Hello.
Hi, Captain. All passengers are now on board.
Okay, thanks. Get the doors closed, and we're looking to get going as soon as possible.
Okay, I'll let the crew know, and we'll get closed up as soon as we can. Hi, Captain. Okay, here's the load sheet from ground. I've written the passenger count here, the crew count here, and the total number of souls, not including yourselves, here.
All right, thank you.
My pleasure.
Right, well, looks like everybody is now on board, which is good. It's what we want. 7.5 tons loaded. Just get that APU started. balanced. Quick PA to everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on board this Easyjet flight from Gatwick to Innsbruck. We're looking to get going as soon as possible, so if you can get yourself sat down, seatbelt signs will be going on very shortly, and the cab will be preparing for departure. We shouldn't have any departure delays, and we've got nice weather en route to Innsbruck today as well, so it should be a smooth, straightforward flight for you. Thank you for flying with us, and we'll speak again soon. So just wait for that final load sheet to come through as well, then I can check the figures that we've got. There we go. So, that APU is now running. They can come off. External power can come off. Give that a second, and APU bleed can come on. Seatbelt signs are on. And we'll get GSX to prepare for the push. So as I said, all the setup and prep for making sure the aircraft is all fine was done prior to the stream starting, so we've kind of skipped out on that for this flight so we can get going. But basically the aircraft's fine. The only thing broken is the weather radar.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
Which we know about. There we go, final load sheet. I hope that's the one. So takeoff weight at 658. We worked on 659, so that's fine. And the CFG 28.7, spot on. So that's fine. Great stuff. Let's get that APU bleed on and run the cockpit prep
completed. Bypass pin
checklist.
inserted.
So aircraft acceptance has been completed. Fuel quantity is 7.5 tons bound. Seatbelt signs are on. Adheres, I've already checked. We've got 3.5 green. The barrier of QNH is 1037, 200 feet. Let's get on the ground frequency.
Ready for
Let's
taxi.
push.
Easyjet 5 Echo Hotel, thank you. Can taxi holding point Alpha 2, runway 26 left via Quebec Alpha, Lima, Papa and Alpha Sierra.
Locking gear.
Alpha 2 by Quebec Alpha, Lima Papa, and Alpha Sierra, Easyjet 5 Echo.
And Gatwick ground Easy 34 Juliet Tango, stand 104 is ready for taxi.
Easy 34 Juliet Tango, stand 104, push and start approved, face east.
Push and start approved facing east. Easy 34 Juliet Tango.
Release parking brakes.
And the before start checklist, parking brake is set on, takeoff data is confirmed,
Release
windows are
parking
closed,
brakes.
EFB is on flight mode, doors are closed and arm beacon light is on. Parking brakes released.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
Nozzle steering is disconnected, so... Engine mode selected to ignition, starting engine 1. One of the other sort of stipulations for flying to Innsbruck is that the aircraft can't have any sort of serious faults that would affect navigation or anything like that. So the only serious fault we've got today is the weather radar. Would that stop us flying to Innsbruck? Probably on a day like today where there is some sort of mist and few clouds in the valley.
Ground, Europa 59 Tango Juliet, on block, parking stand 27. Thank you very much for ATC. Bye-bye.
Europa 59 Tango Juliet, thanks for choosing Gatwick, bye.
Set parking brakes.
And parking brake set.
Cockpit to ground.
Gatwick ground, this is Easy 872.
Engine 1 started, starting engine 2.
Easy 8722, slightly broken, passing message.
Wait for GSX to do their
Easy
thing.
8722 Gatwick ground.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now ask for your attention while we take you through the safety procedures on this aircraft. A safety card is
Unlocking gear.
showing the exit routes, oxygen masks, life jackets, and brace position that you must adopt if you hear brace, brace. There are 2 emergency exits at the rear, 4 in the middle, and 2 at the front of the cabin.
Don't see that livery too often.
Tow truck disconnected.
Please be
Bypass pin
Europa.
removed.
It may be behind you.
Nice to see.
Left is clear. Right is clear.
Baggage on board. Your seatbelt is fastened, adjusted, and released.
Right, tug's getting out of the way. Engine number 2
That's a
is
ground. This
happy.
is Easy 8722. Coming in to land at runway 26 left. ILS 26 left.
Easy 8722, okay. You need to report that to Unicom on 122.8 and contact me when you're on the ground vacated the runway.
To adjust. Put on your own mask before helping others. If we land on water, take the life jacket.
Okay, all's good with the after start checklist sensor. Anti-ice is off. ECAM status is checked.
Easy
Check the back.
8722, Unicom 122.8.
Pitch trim is 28.7 and rudder is neutral. Hey Vaki, good to see you.
If it fails to inflate,
Easy 85 Echo Hotel, there's 1 on final, about 7 miles. Unicom now 122.8, goodbye.
we also carry
Over the traffic 122 Easy 85 Hotel 4.
your tray tables must now
And Gatwick ground, easy 34 Juliet. Tango is ready for taxi and we can take Bravo.
We wish you a pleasant flight with Easyjet.
Easy 34 Juliet Tango, no problems, you'll be number 2, taxi Bravo 1 via Papa.
Bravo 1 via Papa, easy 34 Juliet Tango. Right, so let's start moving. We'll do the flight control check as we roll. So, full left, full right, neutral, full up, full down, neutral, rudder, full right, rudder, full left, and neutral. Okay, no change to our performance. Everything's as planned. Engine out procedure is standard 1700 feet. Turn left Willow. We can hold 3000 feet, which is above MSA. Departure is Minfo 1 Mike, straight out. First turn will be to the right. Noise abatement 2. Speed restriction, so we'll leave it all in managed mode. And the initial stop climb is 4000 feet. Hey Mama, good to see you. We're rushing our departure today a little bit so that we can actually get to Innsbruck, because we've got a school run in the way, sadly. Okay, taxi checklist. Flight controls have been checked. Flap setting config 1, FMA climb nav blue 1FD2 4000 blue, radar predictive which are on, ECAM memo. Just got the takeoff from the cabin crew. Hello.
Hi, Captain. Everyone's seated and secured for takeoff.
Lovely, if you get yourself seated, we'll be taking off shortly, thanks.
No problem.
So I'm just waiting for them to finish. Dr. Random, mate, thank you so much for the Prime sub. Appreciate that. Good afternoon to you. Captain Q, hello. So we've just got master caution, cancel master caution, and disregard that ECAM, clear ECAM. Come on, cabin crew, hurry up. Too busy looking for planes, my nose has infringed the stop line there. Technically that's a naughty moment. I can see someone on final as well. They don't look that far away, to be honest, so I'll probably have to wait for them. Hey Elliot, good to see you. Let's get with ground gone. And Gatwick ground. Do you want us over onto Unicom now? Easy 34 Juliet Tango.
Easy 34 Juliet Tango, yeah, you can hold position. There's one on final, and you're now number 1 for departure after that arriving traffic. Unicom 122.8.
Over to Unicom, thanks for the service. Easy 34 Juliet Tango. Gatwick traffic, Easy 34 Juliet Tango, landing up behind the arriving Airbus company Easyjet via Bravo 1, runway 26 left. Right, lights are on. Need to finish that checklist. So just continuing the taxi checklist. So Eco member, now we've got takeoff no blue, AFB is stowed and disconnected. Let's run the lineup checklist. So cabin is secured for takeoff. Takeoff runway via Bravo 126 left. TCAS TA RA packs 1 and 2 are off. Wasps, yeah, exactly. I needed to be airborne before 1/2 the hour, so we should be okay. Cost index 50. Looks like the company Airbus is now vacated and we're good to go. Gatwick traffic Easy 34 Juliet Tango, departing runway 26 left, Minvo 1 mic. Take off, start the chrono. %, engine 1 set, stable, manflex, SRS runway. Let's go skiing. It's going to be nice to see the sim in the daytime for a change, 100 knots. V1, rotate. And positive rate, gear up. And nav. Autopilot 1 engaged. Afternoon, Lewis. Hope you're well. Thrust climb. Set. Auto thrust. I've got thrust climb as well. Get a pack on. Pack 2.
Traffic to the 852, testing to
Christian, good afternoon to you.
runway 27 right, heading for exhaust runway link to 3 Alpha and Romeo Victor traffic.
Just let it climb a couple of knots above S speed and we'll clean up. There we go. So flaps 0, spoilers disarmed. Cabin crew released. Always nice to see the frame rates pick back up as we leave Gatwick. Oh, right, I think I can relax a little bit. We should have time for the full flight. I needed to be airborne at the very latest, sort of in the next minute or two. I think we're going to be good. I think the children aren't going to be left at the school gate, which is nice for them. So apologies for a slightly rushed departure out of there, but Still did everything we needed to do.
Gatwick traffic, cargo log 33, lining up runway 26 left.
Cargo looks lining up. That's neat. I love seeing people flying heavies on long haul on VATSIM. I think that's awesome. I wish I had time to do it. Okay, so we've got no air traffic control around, which means we will continue our climb. Set something sensible, so there's no traffic ahead of us. So let's go thrust climb, open climb, and 250 blue. Hey, no Sky, good to see you. I love the view of Gatwick from the air, particularly as it's such usually a busy airfield. Oh, can we zoom in and see what that what the cargo looks is? You would expect it to be a 747. Oh, there's some blooming clouds in the way, which means I need to go back here and just throw the anti-ice on. I'm not going to be able to see it. Has he gone? Oh, there he is, yeah. Hey, Pete. Good to see you. Oh, what a view. Love that. Seemed like a steep rate of climb, that. He must not have much cargo on him. Christian, you would have crossed paths if you'd departed a bit later, flying Hamburg to... Oh god, where's that? Is that Biarritz? I have no idea where that is. Have to help me out there. Cancel master caution, disregard ECAM. Bologna, thank you. Mr. Dog, looks like cargo looks 747 going to Innsbruck. Of course it is. That's it. Speed brake, flaps, gear, let's get the lights off. Quite unusual for Gatwick not to be staffed on a Friday afternoon. Maybe we're a little bit early. Or maybe everyone's out at their Christmas socials. That's why I'm on the school run. That's when my wife is today. I don't expect to see her again sober. I'll have 5 children to put to bed tonight. Nick, how do you listen to 80s through the audio control panel? You basically just have to tune to the correct 80s frequency. Let me just do the 10,000 foot stuff. So, airports onto the EFIS. Performance cost index of 0. Progress page, flight level 370. That's going to be alright for us. Yeah, we'll do that. Flight level 370 in a second. And we'll clear out the RadNav page. And our secondary flight plan is no longer valid, so we'll just copy the active flight plan. It's done. And we'll set 370 or 370 blue. I think those seatbelt signs can come off now and people can relax. Cabin crew can start selling stuff. Afternoon, Henry, good to see you. What a gorgeous Friday afternoon. So Nick, I've just realised actually I can't tune to the 80s. If you're talking about Microsoft Flight Simulator's default 80s, I've turned the voices off so it wouldn't work. Good afternoon, Pandis has been watching your A320 series to start your journey. Excellent. Are you doing it in the Fenix aircraft or the fly-by-wire? Milk, Runking Cooper, good day to you. Why does Microsoft Flight Simulator lag when the wheels touch down? I think a lot of people say that that it's to do with the level of detail that you've got set in your graphics sliders, because when you touch down and you get close to the airport, that's when it spawns in all the ground crew, all the baggage handlers, so you can either turn those off or reduce the level of detail. Try that and see how you get on. Hey Jen, have a good flight. Missed the first few minutes. You missed nothing, Jen. We literally raced through the departure because I needed to get off because of a school run later. Why is why is Innsbruck a Cat C airport? Oh wow, where do we begin with that? Okay, so it's a Category C airport because of the terrain around the airport, and the approach isn't straightforward either. So really for this, no inexperienced pilots fly there, a minimum of 500 hours in the Airbus, and fully conversant with all the systems and operating procedures. It's a captain's only approach, landing and take off as well. And as I was saying, this aircraft no dispatch to Innsbruck is permitted if the minimum equipment list items affect anything to do with the auto flight, the navigation, or the performance. If we're flying there and we get a failure, so we can have no in-flight failure, also affecting the handling or the performance. The visual approach for runway 08 at night is only approved if the pilot has flown that approach before in the daytime. And it's not the longest runway, so there's also a regulated landing weight there as well, which for us today was 63.4 tons. We are going to be looking to land at about 62 tons, so we're okay. Pandy practicing on the Fenix aircraft. Yeah, great aircraft. That's what we're flying in right now. Elconia Silly Billy would take the cargo Lock 707 to Gatwick. Well, I hope we get there before him, because there's not going to be much runway left by the time he's landed. FMA going there for real? Wow, for New Year's. That sounds awesome. Jen, so what weather would have been a no-go in real life? That's a good question. Well, basically, let's have a look at the minimums and find out. So, we need a runway visual range of 2,400 meters bottom left. So if the visibility is below that, then we can't land there. Well, I say we can't land there. We can't land there using this approach. There are other approaches available, but this is the one that we're doing. So this is the RMP Zulu for runway 26 AR. AR stands for authorization required. Only certain airlines have that. Thankfully, the Orange Airline is one of them, so we will be doing that. Steep descent angle as well, so it's 3.5 degrees. So it's steeper than the norm. And as it's an RMP approach, the idea will be once we're visual and we're happy, we disconnect the autopilot and land manually, which is always good fun. Arno, good luck in the landing. Took off from there. There's lots of turbulence around. Yeah, and that's another factor. Obviously, it's in a valley, isn't it? So, unexpected stuff there. Tony, is the weather report still working in the McDo? Yes, it is. Yeah. Oh, I really am going to have to get this fixed. But I thought a nice chilled out might not be the right phrase, but a nice relaxing Friday afternoon stream for those of you who are working to sit back and watch. And it's a great way to end the week flying into Innsbruck. Everyone likes Innsbruck. Henry, do you always fly in manually to Innsbruck? No capturing a localizer. You're new to this, forgive the matter. Henry, no problem, mate. This is exactly why the channel was set up, to ask questions, to learn, and there are no daft questions. So, you are absolutely right in saying that is it always a manual landing? Yes, it is. However, there is actually an ILS to fly. So this is the approach we're doing, the RMP approach, which is, it actually stands for Required Navigation Approach. I'll not go into why. But basically it means that the aircraft will follow these waypoints, these GPS waypoints, starting at RTT. It'll then fly the aircraft to Whiskey India 002, and then 103, RW26, and so forth. Yeah. RW26 is obviously the threshold for runway 26. That's where we land, but it will also use the final approach mode for this approach, which means the aircraft will descend from Whiskey India 002 at a 3.5 degree angle, following that all the way down. And we can cross-reference, we need to cross-reference this as we're doing it. As we fly and we get down there, we can see, we'll be able to see on the primary flight display the VDEV scale, which is a bit like an ILS and a glide scope in the way that it works. So it needs to follow that. But an RNAV approach cannot be used for a fully automatic landing like an ILS approach can. Now, I say that, but if we actually just go into the different procedures available for Innsbruck, so you'll see there's an RMP Zulu, RMP Echo, we can't do that, and there is a localizer approach here. Now, the localizer approach, get rid of this, is another option available to us, and this actually, I think, yeah, I think this actually has slightly lower minimums. Runway visual range there, 1600 meters, look, because the A320 is a Cat C aircraft, so, and with both engines running, the missed approach gradient we have is 5%, well, it's above 5%, but, so we could also fly this. Now, Innsbruck is a very strange place, because this is a localizer approach, but it does actually have a glide slope, but it's more of an advisory glide slope, so the aircraft will follow it down there, but you can't use it to auto land. This is also an offset localizer as well, so you definitely can't auto land on it. Now, here's a great question for the chat. It's a localizer approach. How do I know that this also comes with a glide slope? And I'm going to have a swig of my tea whilst you guys answer that. Don't everybody speak at once. How can I tell from looking at the chart that there is a glide slope here? So Chris Shaw says, Christian, descent angle is given. Well, obviously we've got the descent angle there, yeah, of 3.77, and if I go here, we also have a descent angle, though, Chris, on the RMP approach, and there's no glide slope there. So I'll oh, I've lost the chart. Where's it gone? It's something. It's sort of smack. It's there. It's very obvious. It's not a tiny piece of writing, but it's one of those things that you probably don't think about. You don't need to read it, Chris. You don't need to read it, Christopher. You could, my eyes are shocking, but I can see it from there quite clearly. You don't need to read it. Ah, Stefan has got it. Yeah, because of the cone that is around here. So that is a glide slope cone on the chart. The arrow shape. Yeah, so well done, Stefan. So that tells us that there is a glide slope to follow. Now, it's not one that you can use for auto land, etc. Particularly it's an offset approach anyway. But what you would need to do is you basically, as you're going down this approach, you cross-reference your OEV DME, which is basically your localizer DME, and as you're sort of 6 miles away, you want to be at 3,900 feet. 4 miles away, 3,500 feet. Yeah, and the guy sat next to you, the PM, will be calling these out as you're going down it. So yeah, there is a glide slope here, but not one you can sort of use for auto land or anything like that. And also the descent angle of 3.7. That is really steep, and that's why we're not doing it. We're doing this one instead. FMA, early days, I'd like to thank you for all your... Oh, thank you so much, FMA. Appreciate that. Neil UK also said on Twitch, because there's a diagram there with the glide slope on it. Yeah, absolutely. If you have a look at this, this is the RMP approach. There's no glide slope there, but we will get the VNAV flight path angle as well. Sorry to show you. Yeah, no glide slope on that one. There's the other one. But it's one of those things that you see all the time, don't you, on ILS charts, but you never actually think about that arrow, what it's there for. Julie Bravo, why don't they call it CTAF instead of a Unicom? Oh, I have no idea. That's beyond my understanding. I just tune to the right frequency. It's a fluffy white cloud kind of day. Remember guys, coming up on Thursday, we've got the Santa Run, full day streaming. So many giveaways. I think I'm going to struggle to get all of those in. It's going to be immense. Make sure you join us. Over 40 giveaways to do. A stream that's probably going to last 8-9 hours, flying there and back to go and visit Santa. That's a random bit of high cloud. Why don't we get the sun glare anymore inside the aircraft? I mean, that sun looks awful. I'm loving the fact there's a new moon there though. Obviously not a new moon, but Aviate, I should give away one today, take the pressure off next week. Oh, that wouldn't be fair to the sponsors. They've lined us up with so many amazing giveaways to sponsor the stream next week. Wasp, I definitely won't be able to stay connected to VATSIM after I've landed, mate. I will literally be landing, and given the time, I think I'll be landing and not even taxiing in. Dennis, can you see my sensitivity settings? There is a video showing them on stream, mate, if you want to check those out. Avi, I'll tell you what I can do. I can. How about would anybody be interested in winning a free copy of SimSmart? I can give one of those away now, rather impromptu, but I can give a copy of SimSmart away. Bearing in mind the web version of this is coming as well, so even if you don't have PC, once the web version is enabled, you'll have access to that because that's a free upgrade. Who wants me to run a giveaway of this for anyone that? Anyone who knows it. See, this is interesting as well. If I go to, if we go to Innsbruck, runway 26, and well, that's one heck of a go-around procedure. Grab the METAR, So if you were flying in the A320X, the Neo for example, anti-ice will of course be on. Takeoff weight, oh this could be quite fun. If let's set something ridiculous. Let's set a takeoff weight of, I don't know, no that may be too ridiculous. Let's go with 68 tons. Takeoff CFG, yeah, we'll set that to standard. Takeoff thrust, let's go flex. Config 1. Packs will be off. Let's calculate that. Will it even allow this? Oh, goodness me, it will. Yeah, it would allow that to happen. Low flex though. But it does give you a maximum takeoff weight, which is 74.1, which is neat. Yeah, so I'll tell you what, I will. I'm not going to do it now, but we will run a giveaway of that in a little bit. And if anyone wants more details on this app, then there's a link in the video description to SimSmart, so you can check that out. But yeah, as you asked so nicely, Ava, I'll do that for you. Right, coming up on our cruising altitude, 37,000 feet. Airplane's still in the air, so consider that a bonus. Johan, why do I use SimSmart instead of the Fenix one? I do and I don't, Johan. So for the V speeds, you're right. For calculating the takeoff performance V speeds in the Fenix aircraft, I don't. I of course use theirs because, well, it makes sense. It's their aircraft, so it's tailored to it. But what you don't get from this is a engine out procedure, thrust reduction acceleration values. So the thrust reduction acceleration values you can see just there, the top right, are basically noise abatement 2. So they're about 1,000 feet above the airfield elevation. However, not every airport is noise abatement 2. Some are noise abatement 1, and that's where SimSmart will show you some of this, show you those instead with their thrust reduction acceleration values. SimSmart will also give you the engine out procedures. So, for instance, when we let's do Geneva, for example. Yeah, so this is all I use. This is what I use for when I'm flying in the Fenix. So you just enter the runway. You don't even need to get the METAR. You just enter the runway and it'll tell you the accurate thrust reduction acceleration values, engine out acceleration value, and the engine out procedure, which you don't get from the Fenix. And of course, if you're flying in the fly-by-wire, well, then you can put everything in. So it's fine. But yeah, at the moment it's a Windows-based application, so it works on Windows, but the web version is now well in development. So you'll be able to just use it on your phone or your tablet or a web browser if you prefer, which should be great.
But he is logged in as observer.
Okay, which should be great then for when the Innobuild's A3.
Okay, thank you. But if he is on 14 Alpha with the A behind the call sign, then we spawn in each other.
What's going on there? Let's change frequency. I don't listen to that. Okay, so let's do the top of climb checks. That's all fine. That's all fine. That's fine. It's fine. Aircraft all working. Got to have a fully working aircraft for this flight today. Nothing on the overhead. Lovely. So we're direct to Bhopal at the moment. So with that, let's have a look at the. Let's have a look at the fuel. So we took 7.5 tons, which is about 1.2 above the planned block fuel, plus the contingency 1.4, so just under 1.5 tons extra. Where's Bhopal? So we should have just under 5.5 tons of fuel on board at Bhopal, and as you can see, we've got 5.4 and we're 30 miles from Bhopal. Excellent. So fuel check is all fine. I will, Johan, if you stick around, you might win a copy. So you might get one whilst you're on vacation. Look at that crosswind we've got today. Rick, yeah, so years ago, too many years ago now, sadly, I did begin the PPL journey, but then life got in the way. Keep saying I'm going to do it again. Shame I didn't do it then, though. It's probably a lot more expensive now. And there's more mouths to feed than just my own. Anyways, my operational flight plan available to look at. Yes, if I've done it correctly, it should be pinned at the top of the chat for you to have a look at. And you can download that and have a look for yourself. So now we're going to do some other things. We're going to have a look at the landing calculation getting into Innsbruck. So you have to do two things before you fly. Well, no, you have to do one thing before you fly. You need to do a dispatch landing calculation and find out what the sort of maximum landing weight is going to be at your airport. Today's was 63.4 tons, and we're going to land, I think, well, we are going to land under that because that's what we planned. Yeah, so what's that? 58, 59, 60, 61, 62. So about 62 tons, just under. So that's fine. So we know we're going to land below the maximum landing weight, regulated landing weight in Innsbruck today. And you probably also need to do a dispatch takeoff performance to see what your maximum takeoff weight will be. Now, I'll just bring SimSmart back into that. To be honest, your maximum takeoff weight would probably only on short runways would that become a limiting factor. So if we went to somewhere like hang on, let's go to, I think Southampton's quite short, isn't it? So Southampton, grab the METAR. What's happening there? 230 at 3. So yeah, runway 20. Yeah, so it's not the longest runway in the world. So yeah, Gibraltar, Christian, that would have been a good one as well. In fact, yeah, let's do that. Let's do Gibraltar. Let's do Gibraltar. What's the weather doing there? 080 at 19. Okay, oh, this is actually a really good example because these are strong winds and a very strong almost headwind and crosswind, isn't it? Headwind or tailwind. So if we went with the right runway to depart with, so if the wind's 080, we want runway 9. Grab the METAR, which we've done that. Dry, just usual stuff. Let's put in a takeoff weight of 65 tons then. All the usual stuff, flex, config 1. I mean, I think I'd have to double check. I actually think it SOPs for Toga and flaps 3 for takeoff in Gibraltar. But if we pop that in, it tells us that we've got a maximum takeoff weight there of 71, about 71.6 tons. Now that is above the structural takeoff weight, I think, for the 320neo. So that's fine. There is no regulated takeoff weight there. However, watch this. If we now, so that's with a 19 knot headwind, which really helps because we've got all that extra air going over the winds. If I now change that to a 19 knot tailwind, you can't do, it's out of limitations, 15 knot tailwind is the max. Now let's calculate it. Did you see it? Look, it's dropped down. It's dropped down, all the speeds have changed, etc. So if I change this to sort of 71 tons, oops, and calculate that, it'll tell me, yeah, no, maximum takeoff weight because of the weather, etc. is however much, so we need to change it. Now that doesn't matter if I went toga and config. In fact, before I do that, let's change this to the maximum take. Let's go with 70 tons then, which is within the permitted takeoff weight. Yeah, so there you go. Technically we can still do it. I mean, we can't because the winds are in the wrong way, but there you are. So yeah, on a short runway for departure, then you need to check your maximum takeoff weight, what your regulated takeoff weight is. And I think if I go back to Southampton, I'm not sure if runway 2 is even shorter. Oh no, it's not. I thought it was about 1500 meters. Maybe it's not. Neil, banner's frozen. It's showing 7,419 feet. Oh dear. Well, yes, that's definitely not right. Okay, didn't need to do a takeoff weight calculation today though, because it's a massive runway at Gatwick, so we don't need to do that. But what we do need to do is we did our landing, dispatch landing calculation. We're now going to do an in-flight one. So, first thing we're going to do is check if we are going to be able to get in using idle reverse, or whether max reverse is going to be required. And the way to do that is choose the runway, which we know we're landing 26. Let's grab the latest METAR. Just having a look at the weather there. Is runway 26 still in use then? I'm not sure there's a way to actually find that out, other than going to Flight Radar 24 and having a quick look. So I'm just doing that now. Hello?
Sorry for the intrusion. I was just wondering if you'd like a drink.
No thank you.
No problem. If you change your mind, just give me a call.
Okay, the last flight landed on runway 26, so yeah, we'll stick with that. So runway 26, and what we're going to do is we're going to change it to runway condition 2, medium poor. Now, we know that it's not actually that bad, okay? It's actually dry at the minute, according to the METAR reports. So, yeah, it's going to be fine. But this is just to work out whether we are going to use idle reverse or whether we're going to use max reverse after we've landed. So we've got the METAR in there, we'll apply the METAR, that's all done. And our landing weight we said is going to be, let's be conservative, 62 tons. Right, and there you go, you can see that everything goes way off scale. So at the bottom, LDA, that's the landing distance available, 1,940 feet. The landing distance required, if the conditions were like this, would be 2,500 feet, sort of, 2,545. So that means that we are going to be able to use max reverse, not idle reverse to stop. This calculation as well needs to be performed with idle, no reverse selected as well. So what we're going to do now is let's set it to the actual conditions. So we're going to move it up to dry. And strangely enough, that tells me we're still not going to be able to get in. Well, that is because if we now put max reverse in, and also yes, it was also done on low auto brake, but we're now going to change that to max manual. I mean, to be fair, that's medium auto brake and max reverse, so we're going to be able to get in, and that's fine. So the reason you do it with 2 is not because that is the actual conditions, but if you can't get in under those conditions, then that's when you'd use max reverse. And that's just a standard operating procedure thing. Johan, that add-on, that's the Fenix EFB, the aircraft's electronic flight bag. So, Zara, got to go beer o'clock at the golf club. Enjoy, enjoy. Oh, Johan, that is self-loading cargo that does that. That's, yes, self-loading cargo that asks me if I want food. And there is a video on the channel about that, actually, if you want to check that out. All these add-ons and apps, I know. Tony, have I tried the Latin VFR A330? Yes, again, there's a video on the channel reviewing that if you want to see it for yourself. Alright, so let's review everything we need to review for a safe and happy landing in Innsbruck. So we've already spoken about how Innsbruck is a Cat C airfield. So, threats at Innsbruck, obviously it's the terrain. The biggest threat would be the controlled flight into terrain. So, minimum safe altitude there is up to 14,500 feet. High minimum radar vector altitudes, and the instrument approaches start between 9,500 and 13,000 feet, depending on whether you're landing on runway 26 or 08, respectively. Transition altitudes are set by air traffic control. If there's no air traffic control there, we'll use our own transition altitude of 13,000 feet. We need to adhere to all maximum speeds on the charts and any specific bank angles that are also depicted on the chart in the valleys, and that's to comply with the turn radius. So obviously we're going down a valley, turning an A320 around inside that valley is not something you want to mess around with. So this is quite important. In the event of a go around, we need to manage the configuration carefully to ensure that the maximum speeds aren't exceeded. Now obviously the speeds in the valley we want to keep very slow. Two reasons. One, it means you can turn around quicker and maneuver yourself faster, and two, it also means if you've got toga power and you've got a low speed, then you're going to be climbing much faster, and that's what we want to get out of the valley in the event of a go around or wind shear, something like that. The GPWS alerts can also be expected if we're going around and stuff when maneuvering close to terrain. Those have to be obeyed unless it's VMC conditions and the site of the terrain and clearances can be assured within the safe maneuvering of the aircraft. If we lose control, things like wind shear, turbulence, they can be expected in strong winds, particularly during the fine conditions on approach to runway 26. That is not happening today, I don't believe, so hopefully that will be okay. The runway is short, and combine that with the high airfield elevation, landing performance can be limiting. So we've checked the regulated landing weight before departure, we know we're fine with that. We're not dispatching, so we don't need to dispatch landing performance. If I was doing 2 flights today, which would be great, I don't have time for it, but if we were doing 2 flights today, then obviously we'd need to do a dispatch landing performance calculation, a dispatch calculation for takeoff and check any regulated takeoff weights. It is recommended then that all approaches leave the platform altitude fully configured, so that's at least config 3 and gear down. Maybe not flaps full, but config 3 and gear down, and that's at the platform altitude, which today is 9,500 feet. And also using a selected speed of 150 knots as we are going down. Basically, at any point we're in the valley, then we need to be no faster than 150 knots. Steep approach angles on runway 26 may lead to an unstable approach. Obviously, we want to avoid that. So the arrival we're doing is runway 26, isn't it? So we've already checked the minimums for the approach that we're doing, and we know we're legal to start the approach because the weather is above the minimums for that. All approaches here are considered circling approaches for the stability approach criteria, which means we must be stable not by 500 feet, which is normal, but we need to be stable and happy by 400 feet. We'll also prepare the cabin early before entering the valley, so they're not distracted, and it'll reduce our workload as well. So we'll do that probably on descent about 20,000 feet. We'll also get the APU running as well, so as we're passing through 20,000 feet, we'll start that APU up because we want the APU to power the packs. That way the engines have got full performance in need of a go-around as well. Full use of automation for the approach is recommended as well to reduce our workload, so we can have our mental capacity on the sort of situational awareness, that kind of thing. So we are going to be arriving from Tulsi. No, we're not. We're going to be. Yes, we are. We're going to be arriving from Tulsi today, runway 26, and there sometimes can be inbound traffic coming towards us from the opposite direction, or there may be other aircraft holding at the Ratton NDP. We obviously want to be aware of that. They will be on TCAS. All missed approaches terminate at Ratton at the eastern end of the slope. So that's where we're actually going to be starting our approach. Make full use of the secondary flight plan if it is available. Runway 26 is equipped with a high intensity approach lighting system. Now, I don't think the rabbits are included in the scenery that I've got. So the rabbits are the white flashing lights that lead up to it. Sadly, they're not there. But in real life, they extend to just shy of 5,000 meters from the runway to assist with visual maneuver and aligning with the center line. But thankfully, visibility today isn't too bad. So that's all right. Pipers are available at both runways, and they are angled at 3,500 feet. Right, only other thing to look at is temperature deviation from ISA conditions. So it's cold there today. What's the temperature today? Oh, actually it's not. It's not that bad. It's 4 degrees. If it was into the 0 or the minus figures, we'd have 20 feet to the minimums for the temperature correction, but we don't need to do that today. So yeah, we're going to be doing runway 26 to land. That's the preferred approach. Flight path angle is 3.5 degrees, same as the Pappies. Missed approach and balk landing procedure today are identical, and we need to maintain config 2 due to the RF leg speed conditions. Alright, so that's all of the sort of like housekeeping stuff for the arrival into Innsbruck, which is boring, but better than not being prepared for it. DHK Sweden, good afternoon to you. Yeah, Lemon, sadly we've not got too much ATC. Sadly. Morgan, I'm half skimming an airfield brief and I'm half recalling what we need to do. But we're going to have a look at the approach in a minute and sort ourselves out, sort the box out, that kind of stuff. Manic, the clouds do look good. I think they look. They've definitely done something since Sim Update 14 was released, haven't they? Maybe it's just the light scattering thing that they've done. Hey, Yardy, yeah, good to see you, mate. Hope you're doing well. I've just realised my EFB is slowly running out of power. Let me just grab a cable. I'll be back in a second because the last thing I want is that conking out on me whilst we're on approach. One moment. There we go. Yes, Christian, I was just thinking that wouldn't be the first time the battery dies on approach. Usually it's in my mouse, but I've got a wired mouse here as a backup, so that's no longer an issue. Yanni, I'm very well, thank you. Have you been flying to anywhere cold recently? Where's my pen gone? Okay, let's go through the charts and prepare for the arrival. We should be on the ground in about 45 minutes. So at top of descent, we're going to get down to, basically, we're going to get down right to the platform altitude, which is 9,500 feet. Now, with that, there are a few things just to sort of bring into view. So what I'm looking at specifically is the grid Mora. So we're safe to get to 9,500 feet once we are sort of on the approach here. We can see the grid Mora is 14,000 feet there, so we don't want to be getting down too fast too soon. But yeah, 9,500 feet at Ratton, starting the approach there. And it's what? It's between Tulsi and Ratton. It's 17 miles. Well, on a nice 3-degree descent, we can probably lose about 5,000-6,000 feet there if we're careful. So, yeah, that'll be all right. So the plan will be we'll get down to MSA, as we can see, is 14 there. I'm just having a look here. We've got 11.6. And let's have a look. This is based off Ratton. Yeah, there we go. That's what I was looking for. MSA from Ratton. Yeah, okay. So we can get down quite happily to 10,500 feet. Sorry, 10,300 feet. And we know we're going to be safe from the terrain at that point. And then once we get Tulsi, we can get down to 9.5. So the plan will be at top of descent, we're going to dial in 10,300 feet. That keeps us above MSA. Once then we have left Tulsi, then we're going to get down to the platform altitude of 9,500 feet. Now the important thing here is by the time we get to Rattenberg, we've only got just under 6 miles before the approach starts. So we want to be, ideally, we want to be sort of flaps 2 really, at the absolute minimum. Flaps 2 at Rattenberg, speed 180 at Rattenberg. And that then gives us time to make that little turn, and it's going to be flaps 3 and gear down before we start that approach. That approach is going to be flown in final approach mode. So obviously using this here, and then we're just going to monitor that all the way down. A couple of things we need to check before we start the approach. So we need to know that GPS system, that is all working fine. Accuracy is high, estimated 0.03, that's fine. And that is why we can use the runway visual range at the bottom left of the chart there, 2,400 feet, RMP 0.15, and we're working on 0.03. So all is good. Ryan, I'm loving the mini FCU. I think that's great. Oh, Yardy, of course, you're on the ground, aren't you? Hope you're enjoying it. So that's a quick overview of how we're going to fly the approach. Now let's go through the box and set some stuff up. So we're going to check that that approach and the coding is exactly what we want. Yep, there it is. Whiskey India 002 103. If I do that there, you can see both the chart and the information there on the right hand side. So that's fine, that's fine. Those speeds look good. To be fair, I'm going to be speed 150 anyway in the valley. Kate, thank you for subscribing. Hope you're doing well this Friday afternoon. So something else I'm going to do then, we're going to use our fixes page. I'm going to put the Lowy runway 26 in there, and I'm going to put the runway track in there, which is 077, and that means if I pop that radial in there, what we should get now is the centre line. Remember, it's an offset approach this, so we have to fly it manually. There it is. So that is actually the runway centre line there, look. So you can that's a really good way to show you how offset this approach actually is. We want to sort of line up with it with 3.7 miles to go. That's nice to have that there. Hey Soren. Max, how do you know what category airfield you're flying to? Can you read from the charts? No. So category C airfields are those which are normally depicted by the company you're flying for. Category C airfields are usually ones which have some sort of restrictions on them, like captain's only landings, and there's reasons for it. Things like a narrow runway. Gibraltar is one. Skiathos is another. Obviously Innsbruck, Tivat because of the terrain around it. Right, so that's all set up. Radna page, we want RTT in there. That's done. Lowy 26. That gives us a distance and a bearing, so we've got that as well. Cost index, that should have gone back up to 4. Whoops. Right, and the weather, where's that gone? So winds 103. Just popping this weather in. 1103. Temperature is 4 degrees. QNH 1035. It's really high. And the minimums are 2,500 feet. And of course, it's a fully configured landing today. Also copy the secondary flight plan, copy active. There we go. It's also worth noting as well that if we need to go around, our acceleration altitude is about 10,000 feet. Engine out acceleration altitude is also 10,000 feet. I think the sim is looking particularly good at the minute. Right, and that's our top of descent. Lee, you've just got your mini FCU, are you enjoying it, yeah? Alright, let's do our usual arrival brief then and go through it. We've already spoken a lot about it, so we're just going to firm up a few details. So, weather we spoke about, we've got a light tailwind coming in, 103 knots, and it is varying as well, 090150, so that's a bit of a tailwind sort of from the back left as we're coming in. Be aware of that then when we're sort of lining up with the runway at the last minute. We're going to have just something sort of pushing us over to the right hand side of the centre line if that is the case. A few clouds 1,000 feet, so hopefully they will not be in the way because, as I say, the minimums are 2,500 feet. We should be, I think it's about 600 feet AGL above the ground from the airfield, so we should be fine, be out of those. Broken 9,000 feet, temperature is 4, QNH is 1035, which I'm going to preset now. That's done. And we've got no significant changes planned. Aircraft is still all fully working, and no NOTAMs that are going to affect our arrival today. Threats to be aware of. Okay, we've already identified the main threat, and that is of course the terrain. A little bit of a tailwind as well. How we're going to mitigate the threat? Basically, as long as the aircraft's behaving itself, leave everything in manage mode. Yeah. Everything that's in the box, the go around, the approach, is all in there, and it's safe, keeps us away from the terrain. Things like speed 150 knots in the valley, that's a must. Allows us a greater chance of turning should we need to, and it also allows us to climb at a much faster rate than normal. So that's the simple stuff. There's no air traffic control there, so I think that's going to be I think that's going to be a bit of a could be a mess, because I think some people will be landing on runway 08 towards us. If that is the case, I will mitigate that by just disconnecting off VATSIM. It's not worth the headache. Right, so the arrival brief then. We've already said we're going to be doing Tulsi 3 Alpha top of descent. We're going to start our descent down to 10,300 feet. That basically takes us down to MSA. Then once we've passed Tulsi, we can get down to 9,500 feet at Ratton NDB. At Ratton NDB, I want to be flaps 2, speed 180. As we leave Ratton, we're going to wind that speed down to 150, and we're going to get the gear out flaps 3. The extra drag will help sort that. Once we are approaching Whiskey India 002, then final approach mode we're going to enable, and down we go. Once I am happy that we can see the runway to make a visual approach at about between 3 and 4 miles out, I will be happy to disconnect the autopilot and manually hand fly and line up with the approach. Remember, we need to be stable by 400 feet. One other thing to mention, of course, we're going to prepare the cabin crew early, and the APU is going to be on by 15,000 feet. I should have said that a little bit earlier, but I know I've already mentioned that. And once we land, we're going to use max reverse on the runway and look to vacate. Hopefully, it'd be nice to vacate at Alpha and then backtrack. We'll also be using auto brake medium, so get that set now. And no need for a single engine taxi. The airport's not big enough for that. The go around, right, well, one of the reasons that this is a great approach to do, if we had to go around, again, we're going to leave it all in managed mode, and we're going to maintain flaps 2 config. So obviously if we go around, then we're going to set we'll call for the go around, and we'll select toga power. I'll call for go around flaps, make sure we're pitched up, check the FMAs, and then once we've got a positive climb, we'll get that landing gear up. I will pull speed 150, and that's what we're going to target to help us climb out nice and safe in the valley. I'm going to leave the speed at 150, and we're not going to accelerate away until 10,000 feet. We're also not going to do the usual cleaning up to flaps 1. Instead, we're going to leave it at flaps 2 to maintain that low speed. The go-around will be flown in with the autopilot on and managed mode, and it will literally follow this track here. Taking us all the way back to Ratton, which sadly I wouldn't have a chance for another approach because I've got to pick the kids up from school. So that's the plan. That's the plan, and we're about 20 minutes away from from the top of descent. So there we go. Quick check of the fuel as well. We've got a couple of hours of fuel on board, so that's fine. We've got enough to turn around and go back to Gatwick if we need to. So if you're enjoying this rather intense stream of box ticking, then please do leave a like. This will probably be our last stream of the week as well, guys, so thank you once again for your support this week. As always, it is very much appreciated, and I hope you're all looking forward to next Thursday. I certainly am. Heading down through this this cloud layer. I also love the fact that at Innsbruck, I don't think there's actually any specific parking stands, is it? They just throw you where they can fit you on the apron, which is kind of fun. Hey Neural, good to see you. FMA, the altitude I think at the above the top of the screen is broken. Let me reset it. I think it's conked out. Right, hopefully that's that sorted itself for you now. Looks a bit more realistic, doesn't it? Right, let's start that descent then. So, thrust idle over descent, 110 blue. And down we go. Just looks like quite a thick cloud layer down there, doesn't it? Are those meant to be altocumulus lenticularis clouds? If they are, they look great. It's a kind of cloud formation I never thought I'd see in a flight simulator. Clouds that look like spaceships, thanks to fast-moving jet stream winds. Nick, come on, a seasoned pro pilot like yourself. How can you not know those? Altocumulus lenticularis. Rick, can this approach be flown at night? Yes, it can, Rick. Yes. It must be a very disconcerting feeling, though, flying this approach at night in thick cloud. Nick, you just call them white fluffy things. Well, why not? Dark says fancy words for just flat cotton clouds. That's it. But they look really good. Seriously, Google it. Altocumulus lenticularis. And because it's Latin, it's pretty much spelt phonetically. I'm sure if you Google it and spell it wrong, Google will connect it for you. But if you do Google it, there'll be some great pictures. There you go. Let's have a look at some images on here. Yeah, look at those. Look at those pictures of those clouds. Yeah. Almost looks like those, right? Oh wow, they look at that! How stunning is that one? That's incredible. Right. Should we get back to flying this serious approach? Okay, so I'm going to wind the speed up because obviously we need to get down. I've just updated, I forgot to show you, but I've just updated the altitude I want to be at Ratton. So on the charts, it actually says you just need to be above Rattenberg at, above 9,500 feet at Rattenberg. I've just changed Right, I hope we're back. You'll have to let me know if that is the case. Right, so we're going to start the APU. Cabin crew prepare for landing. APU started. JKZ, thank you. Let's get the anti-ice on. Okay. Right, we missed nothing. Anti-ice has just come on. The APU is starting. Let's concentrate then. So we're getting nicely below the profile, which gives us lots of time to slow down. We're going to activate the approach phase nice and early, so that's done. Tell ya, blooming Streamlabs. Right, LDev VDev is there. Final check that all our GPS stuff is still working. Yeah, accuracy is high. That's all fine. Let's start slowing down. Gonza, yeah, we wound the speed up to make sure that we could get well beneath the profile. We needed to get beneath that so that we can basically be pretty much fully configured by the time we start the approach. Innsbruck traffic, Easy 34 Juliet Tango is 5 miles north of the Rattenberg NDB, about to start the RNP Zulu approach for runway 26. So speed brakes out. Flaps 1, speed's checked. Flaps 1. Pull speed 180. It's 10,000 feet. Lights on. Flaps 2, speed's checked. Flaps 2. Just keep that speed actually up 180 because it still need to get down to 5,500. Sorry, 9,500. Yeah, I know speed brake's still out. Cancel master caution. And speed brake now got a speed on start. Perfect. So then, as we begin that approach in about 4 miles, we're going to configure. Gear down. Speed 150. APU supplying the packs. Oh, nice. Flaps 3. Approach nav, final blue is armed. Innsbruck traffic easy, 34 Juliet Tango is now over Whiskey India 002 RNP Zulu for runway 26 approach. Currently 20 miles out. I told you plenty of time for the school run here. Right, that's final approach sorted. Missed approach altitude is 11.5. Set. Through back, yes, should be on 1228. Yeah, we are, that's fine. So nice steady approach. Keep an eye on that wind, because at the moment we've got 12-13 knot literally a crosswind from the right, and reported winds down at the ground was a tailwind from the back left. Camera crew seats for landing. Johan, it is called self-loading cargo. I think I can just about see the runway. Which you can see how sort of last minute correction this is going to be, because that is the runway centre line. Should I be concerned about this aircraft here popping up? Right, so anti-ice is going to be on for the duration then, looking at this. Although actually once we've dropped out this cloud layer, I can probably get rid of that. That gives us a bit more performance to the engines if things go belly up. Tell you what I didn't do in all the Streamlabs nonsense, didn't run the approach checklist, but the Barrow QNF 1035 seatbelt signs are on, minimums 2,500 feet, auto brake medium, and the EFB is stowed, and we'll do our landing checklist very shortly. So 12 miles out. Innsbruck traffic, easy 34 Juliet Tango, 12 miles out, runway 26 to land. Bomb Tech no circle to land today? God no. Definitely not. My first officer's barking. I bet someone's coming to the door. Well, it's tough. This is more important. I know we're on VATSIM. Right, now we get rid of the anti-ice. Hopefully the biggest threat from here on in is that Streamlabs will conk out again. How gorgeous does that look? Sun's rays shining through the valley, lighting up here. I think that is stunning. Absolutely stunning.
Innsbruck traffic, cargo lux 383 on a 15-mile final, runway 26.
Can that safely fly at 150 knots? Okay, I'm happy to land, so flaps 3. Speed obviously is checked, flaps 3. Landing checklist. Cabin all secured, go around altitude is 11,500 feet. Cab memo will come up in a moment. So I'm making full use of the automation so we can concentrate on stuff, but I tell you what a picture that is. Why aren't the seatbelt signs on? Because I'm no PM. Right, there we go, seatbelt signs are on. Whoops. Alright then, so this is it. Let's keep an eye on that wind. Autopilot off. I have control. Just watch for that wind swinging round to be a little bit more of a tailwind from the back left. That is what was reported. Well, we'll see. Puppies look good. Just to rest that descent rate a little bit. We've got 3 reds, that's better. Okay, let's just try and maintain that picture now as we head down.
100 above. Minimum.
Continue.
500.
And stable. Here's a steeper approach, so we're going to start that flare a tad earlier.
$40, $30, $20, retard.
Right, in the real world I would have needed to have gone round. But I didn't have time. We didn't get time to, we didn't get down in time. We needed to go around in real life, but I'm going to rely on the old Microsoft Flight Simulator stopping distance.
The cabin crew will shortly be leaving their seats to perform safety-related duties. However,
Innsbruck traffic, Easyjet, Ram 6, prepare to push back, facing west.
Innsbruck traffic, easy 34 Julia Tango, backtracking, runway 26.
In the seat pocket, underneath the seat, and in the overhead lockers. Do take care of opening the lockers in case anything falls out. Smoking is not permitted until you reach a designated smoking area. On behalf of the captain and the crew, it has been our pleasure looking after you today. Our ground crew will help you complete your Easyjet journey. The latest news.
Is that cargo look still coming in?
Check out our official Facebook page, Twitter, or Easyjet.
and Innsbruck traffic, Cargolux 383 on a 4-mile final, runway 26.
Oh god, let's get out of the way. Christian, yes indeed, we were in selector speed, we didn't push for managed. Why not? Let's get off this runway, then we'll talk about it. Innsbruck traffic, runway 26 vacated. Yes! So why didn't I set for managed speed? I'll tell you exactly why. Muscle memory wasn't there for it. We had pre-selected the speed, so it was an error. We should have been in managed speed. We pre-selected 150 to fly the approach. We'd configured everything early. My sort of trigger for selecting managed speed is putting the gears down. Well, the gears went down 20 miles back, and I completely missed that trigger. So there's a great little bit of debriefing to go. Is that an A330 Virgin as well? Oh my word, this could end badly.
Traffic, traffic.
VATSIM realism at its best. Right, I wanted to watch that. I'll sort my aircraft out now. And plenty of time for the school run, so there's a bonus.
Innsbruck traffic, Cargolux 383 backtracking, runway 26.
So we'll just park somewhere in front of the terminal. In fact, I was going to park where that blooming fire truck's just parked. Jen, yeah, that's a balloon. I'm going to squeeze between the BA and the company.
Traffic, Cargolux 383 vacated, runway 26.
Oh my god, and he's vacated. Into the hillside. How quickly did that aircraft stop?
Not very quickly.
Do you reckon VATSIM and GSX will ever get together and sort that out? It does kill the immersion somewhat. And is that a Dreamliner? I don't think they arrive there, do they? Okay, let's get off VATSIM. I've got time to check out the replay, so let's do it. So yeah, if I was to debrief that arrival, which is fair, always like to learn from mistakes. Yeah, the main mistake there was we forgot to push managed speed. I've done that before. I have done that before on stream. Can anyone tell me where? See how where it was a long time ago. Very long time ago. So would have been the oldest viewers of the channel. Gonzi, what was the reason to land with the APU on? So we put the APU on about 15,000 feet so that the packs, the air conditioning packs, pressurization system, is powered by the APU and not the engines. And the reason for that is so that the engines have got full performance. We're not tapping anything off from the performance of the engines in case we needed to suddenly get out of the valley. DK Sweden, we didn't shut down engine 1 and 2 because the replay doesn't work well without it. Hey, Supertramp says, nice to see you still streaming. Old YouTube sub, but 2 kids later it's hard to find the time for Microsoft Flight Simulator. I mean, 2 kids in 3 years, that's impressive stuff. Insane, but impressive. Dojo, thank you for being here. And remember guys, if you're on your way out, leave a like as you go, and make sure you're here next Thursday. Gotta be here next Thursday. This time next Thursday, we'll be on our way back, most likely from Lapland. Did the landing rate monitor work anyway? Probably touched down far too smoothly. Cheerio, Christian. Again, thank you for being here, mate. Oh, that blooming plane just didn't want to touch down, did it? Yeah, so only 2 things wrong with that approach. Managed mode for the speed and the fact that we had a long landing. Ashwin, it is, I'm afraid. Sorry. It is the end of our stream. We were just showing the replay, which we have a look from the other side as well, because I think, let's face it, scenery here is just absolutely gorgeous. Terry Ash, same to you. Bombtech, for the aircraft on GSX, you can download custom-made profiles for that as well, should you wish to. Ian, we'll have a look outside before I go. Definitely. Go on then, Vrian. Let's see what that looked like outside. It looked like that. Man, that looks nice. Pretty much got everything sorted, and then a bit of ground effect just didn't want us to touch down in the end, did it? Had we been in managed speed though, would have got down fine. So, my own fault. Centre line. Well, guys, that's it. That is us done for most likely the week. So a massive thanks, as always, to all of you for your support. Yeah, I keep saying about next Thursday. That's because I want you all to be here within the chance of all the great giveaways we've got, and it's our Christmas special flight, so always good fun. There will be streams, I'm sure, before then. But until then, a massive thanks as always to our amazing community, our Easyjet Sim Pilot channel memberships, and your support, which really does help to keep us going. Thank you so much for that, and I look forward to seeing you all again next week. Stream details, etc., will of course be announced on the Discord server. But you already know about next Thursday. Did I already mention next Thursday? Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you all again very soon. Have a great weekend. Bye bye.
Ahead. Pull up.
Fifty, 40, 30, 20, retard.